Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. So I noticed over this past weekend that I hit 100 subs on YouTube, which I certainly wasn't expecting. That wasn't the goal. I'm just some broad posting silly nonsense on the internet. So I very much appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And to celebrate, we're gonna make my favorite bread, some focaccia. Not any kind though. This is going to be a cheese and garlic stuffed focaccia, also known as a what the focaccia. Let's get started. We're going to start with 1 3/4 cups of lukewarm water. We want to shoot for about 105 degrees. You're going to want a thermometer for this part. It's really important that the water is not warmer than 110 Fahrenheit and not cooler than 100. I don't know exactly why, but that's best for the yeast. It's all fancy baking science.
Yes, science!
I don't fully get it. Just do it. So 1 3/4 cups of lukewarm water, and this is 105. And to this, we're going to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of honey. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. And give it a wee bit of a mix. The honey isn't going to make your bread sweet at all. This is just going to help feed and activate the yeast, of which we are going to add 2 teaspoons. And another mix. We're just going to set this off to the side. You want to give it a few minutes to get foamy. That's what it looks like right now, like cloudy water. Give it a couple minutes and a little foam is going to form on the top. And while that's getting set up, we're going to just measure out the flour. We'll be using 3 cups of all-purpose flour. A lot of these focaccia recipes will give you bread flour. So if you don't have bread flour and you're just using regular people all-purpose flour, that's what I'll be using as well. So hopefully this will work for you as well. One. 2 cups. 3 cups. I like to get these produce bags for my bags of flour and sugar. That way, any dust kicking up trying to make a mess stays in the bag. And a wee bit of salt. If it would help you to measure it out, maybe a teaspoon. Just kind of eyeballing this. And you do not have to use a sieve. I just like using them. Just a quick mix. It's just salt and flour. And we're going to make a well. So, got Got a little bit of foam going on the top here, which is lovely. And we're just going to go ahead and pour that in. And we're also going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And we will be using quite a bit of olive oil, so if you want to make a nice focaccia, make sure you've got ample amount of olive oil at home. And this is a very simple recipe, however, I do warn you, it's quite a tedious and repetitive recipe. There's going to be a lot of repetition of stretching and folding, but not difficult. This does not require any kneading, but it does require a lot of stretch and folds and resting in between. And after a few minutes of mixing here, should look something like this. It's quite shaggy.
Zoinks! 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 What zoinky label?
I don't really know what that means, but that's what all the food people call it when it looks like this. You want to make sure that all the liquid and flour is fully incorporated, and make sure also that you scrape up along the sides, making sure that there's no flour dust kicking up around the bowl. We do want this to be well incorporated. So once it is looking like that, just gonna roughly make sure that it is in that ball shape. A little bit of olive oil on the top. Just get this ring off so I can touch it. And just rub it on the top here. And get some of that oil along the sides as well. We're going to cover this with some plastic, and it's going to sit for 15 minutes, and we will be back then. All right, after 15 minutes, I'm going to get the plastic off, hang on to that, and this is what she looks like. You want to get yourself a ramekin or a little bowl with some water. Get your hand wet. And we're going to do 4 stretch and folds. So it might be a bit difficult to see because I need one hand to hold this down.
P.O.P. Hold it down.
You want to get your wet hand opposite of you, right under. Grab her. You want to just pull up and towards yourself. I'm going to give a quarter turn. Wet hand, right under. Pull up and towards yourself. olive oil. Just kind of want to flick my fingers under to make sure there's oil on the bottom, on the top, and around the sides of the bowl. A couple of good smacks.
You've been a very bad girl.
And the plastic back on. This is going to rest for another 15 minutes at room temp. And we're back. And again, just as before. Just gonna pull this up from the sides first. That's what she looks like. Nice and jiggly. Sometimes it's tough to pull. That's just what happens, and that's okay. More olive oil. This time, we're gonna let this sit for 30 minutes. And you do want this to rest at room temperature, so if your place is on the chilly side, I would recommend turning up the heat, or you could put a towel over this. Or what you could also do is turn your oven on a really low temperature, like 200, and then rest this on one of the burners, not the burner that vents the heat from the oven because you don't want it to cook, but on one of the other burners, and it will keep warm in that area. All right, half an hour. If you mix quite a bit of wet doughs, I strongly recommend getting you a nail brush. You can find this in the makeup aisle of any old Walmart, dollar store. This works great. You know, you get under the nails. I am not sponsored. All right, we are at 30 minutes. That's where we're at. And we're going to do another stretch and fold. More olive oil. All right, so this is gonna set aside to rest for at least an hour while I do the other things that have to get done. And I am going to get a towel on the bowl because it's getting dark here and a bit chillier. While that's resting, let's get started on the filling. I'm going to start with 1 head of garlic. This is just a wee one, that's fine. All right, peeled. Get you a wee little ramekin or some sort of vessel for roasting garlic. And right on in there. Some coarse salt. If you haven't gotten any and you just have regular table salt, that's fine, I guess. Rosemary. How much? You know, teaspoon, tablespoon, however much you'd like. Thyme would also go well if you've got that and not rosemary. Olive oil, just to cover. And if your little vessel does not have a lid, a little foil. And this is going to go in the oven at 250 for 1 hour. While the garlic is roasting, some cheddar. I want to shoot for about a cup. Some Parmigiano, about a 1/4 cup. All into a bowl. I'm just going to get a little plastic on here so it doesn't dry out. This took me just a few minutes and the garlic is still in the oven. Our garlic is finished. One stick of butter, that's 1/2 cup. This is salted. Use what you've got. just gonna reserve most of the oil here. And I've just got a wee bit left. What a mess. So just get all this stuff in the blitzing apparatus of your choice. I'll be using a smoothie blender. Actually, no, I won't. Yeah, well, yes, I will. A wee bit of pepper, nothing but the finest. Okay. All right, so now we're going to take this and we're going to pour it on into this. Keep the plastic from the bowl. ASMR. And we're going to give this a mix. Our roasting pan, it's like yay big, you know. Is it 9 by 13? I don't know. A wee bit of olive oil. Up around the sides. And there she is. Oh. Beautiful. We're done with the stretching and folding. Well, the folding we're done with. No, actually, no. Okay, forget what I just said. We're going to just plop this on in to the pan. And we're just going to try and stretch her out as best we can. Well, we are going to stretch her out. We're done with the stretching and folding as best we can. You want to be a wee bit delicate as to not tear any holes in this. Oh, see? Whatever. Okay. Now we're going to take this stuff here. You want to use about, well, I use about maybe 70%. So a bit over half. There's still this much left. Just stretch it, spread her. Spread her all around. Not all the way to the edges. Unless you don't mind a messy, sticky mess when this is all done. Lengthwise here, one of the long sides, and just fold it up. We're done with the stretching and folding. Other side. And then these sides. And then same side down. Best you can, best you can. It's messy. Or it can be. My goal is always to get this back into a somewhat rectangular shape. But you know, it hasn't happened yet. I'm being quite honest. You know, it's something. Okay. We're going to cover this up with some plastic. And a towel. And we're going to cover this back up so it doesn't dry out before we need to use the rest of it. All right, for me it will be an hour. For you, it will be now. Okay, it's been an hour for me. We are in the home stretch. The oven is set to 425. The dough has risen just a wee bit more olive oil. Focaccia loves olive oil. And we're going to use the rest of this garlic butter cheese schmaltz. Just spreading her around. And now we are going to use our fingers all the way to the bottom. Bubble. Okay. A wee sprinkle more of our fancy black pepper. Sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. And a sprinkle more of parm. Sprinkle, sprinkle. All the sprinkles. And me personally, I like to just get my hand in there again one more time. I want to make sure the bottom is well and oiled so that it won't stick, because I just find that these kind of roasting pans, things can stick, and it's oiled to my liking, but it still might stick. Who the heck knows? This is going to go into the oven 25 to 30 minutes at 425 Fahrenheit. fresh out the oven and fresh out of the pan. This went for 30 minutes. And I'm gonna have it rest for about 20 minutes before I cut into it. So I've got it upside down. Because there's stuffing in here, I just want to make sure it doesn't all pool to the bottom as it cools and that it distributes a little more evenly. Sounds lovely. It smells lovely. So after 10 minutes of cooling, I'm gonna flip it right side up and then I'll let it cool another 10. And here we are. Moment of truth. Got a big pocket of cheese there. I am not a big fan of eating on camera, or the sounds either. You really need me to? I don't know. Would you believe me if I just told you this is delicious? I'll just take a corner piece here. And it is indeed delicious. So that's it. That's the WTFocaccia. After I have a bit of this, I just pop these on into these big Tupperwares that are pretty much the same size. Put a paper towel down. You will get some condensation, so each time I go in for a slice, just wipe off the top, and it holds pretty well. 1 to 2 weeks. And to reheat it, slice it up how you'd like, and it reheats pretty well in the oven at about 300. 10 minutes, you know, use your best judgment. All right, that's it. Thank you so much again for 100 subs, and thank you for watching. Have a great day or a good night. Bye.
Crushed it.
I would not be surprised to find out that she had worked in a bakery before coming here.